Welcome back to Jaworski Pool Practice, everybody, and wishing you a happy 2025. We're going to start the year out with a bang. We're going to do a review of the brand new RPG Jump Cue from JFlowers. So this RPG was just released. They released the RPG Jump Cue and the Loaded Break Cue. It's a series and the designs match up together, so they want to sell them as a pair. And they also threw in a new case as well, the tactical. You could get that bunch on sale right now. I'll put the link below. But in this video, we're going to go over the RPG and what all the changes are that they made compared to the JMPR. We're going to do a little bit of jumping and we're going to talk about the performance. So let's get into it.
All right, you guys, let's get into it. But before we dive into the differences, let's just take a quick peek at what hasn't changed between the RPG and the JMPR. So a few things haven't changed. Both cues are still 47 inches long, roughly, and that meets the legal length requirement for all pool leagues that I checked out anyways. The standard minimum is 40 inches, by the way. They're both still three-piece cues, and they're both available with a wrap. Something new, though, the RPG is available wrapless, and the JMPR wasn't available wrapless, and neither was the JF Power Jump. So with that being said, the RPG keeps some of the core features that make the JMPR a great jump cue, but it also introduces some exciting upgrades. Let's just go from the bottom all the way to the top, and we'll highlight all the changes along the way. Okay, let's start here with the shiny silver butt cap. It looks great. It matches the new design theme for all the JFlowers recent new releases, including the RPG, the Loaded, and the Jason Shaw Signature Series. They all have this style of butt cap. So next is the wrap. They list this new wrap as a vulcanized rubber sport wrap. And I've never heard that term before, so I had to look it up. And basically it just has to do with the processing of the rubber. And I did learn it's commonly used for different sporting equipment. The major benefits of it, number one is durability. Vulcanized rubber is more resistant to wear and tear, aging, swelling, and abrasion. And number two, elasticity. It's more flexible and it has better resilience. So the next change we're going to talk about is the main pin that goes from the butt to the shaft. Now it used to be a 3/8 radial, and they switched that to a quick release. I'm a little on the fence about this one because personally I like the big pins, but I can certainly see the advantages for pros because they're under time pressure a lot in their matches, and sometimes how quickly you can assemble and disassemble a jump cue can mean the difference between making a game-winning shot or possibly giving up a ball in hand and losing an entire match in their case. So I can see the benefits of having a quick release. But with that being said, it could also be a production thing. I work in production, so I realize with lathe work and that kind of thing, instead of drilling and tapping the female side with the Unilocks, they get to use an insert. So it's really easy to install an insert versus drill and tap. It's also very consistent, so that may be something that they do to improve quality consistency. So overall, the design of the new RPG butt, it's more modern, it's a sleek design, it's got the cool updated graphics, nicer finishes, and it includes ring work on the butt and on the new shaft. So it's a bold new look compared to the JMPR's classic design. And I really love the RPG logo. I think it's the cat's meow. On top of the visual changes, there are some dimensional changes they did as well. So mostly on the butt section, they made the handle section shorter by about an inch, and the forearm section longer by about an inch. And when you put them both together and throw them on the scale, the butt section is a little heavier than it was before. So just quickly before we look at this new shaft, let's have a second and can we just appreciate this beautiful set of anodized aluminum joint protectors? We're getting used to seeing these little classy touches from JFlowers. I really appreciate them. I mean, they could just use some cheap joint protectors, right? But they don't. They realize the value and they enjoy going that extra mile for their customers. So I really appreciate that a lot. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty with this new shaft. I'm going to start by saying I love the red ring work at the bottom of the shaft. It looks really cool. And you can see here in the laser etching, it's 14 millimeters, which is up from the 13.8 millimeter of the previous jump shaft. Now this shaft looks like an absolute beast, but when you throw it on the scale, it's actually just under a ½ ounce lighter than the previous shaft. And here's a little side-by-side picture to show you. It's got a straight conical taper. That's the JMPR shaft on the left and the RPG on the right. I really like what they did up here at the business end too. They went with this red ferrule and white, what is that, vault plate, brake pad, I don't know what the technical term is, but it's red with the white and then the tip. It looks really slick. I really like it. One of the biggest changes they've done for the RPG and for the loaded is they've developed a JFlowers brake jump tip. Now they've put a lot of research and development into this tip, and apparently it's really good. I tried to get some details about this tip. I spoke to a billiard product expert with the company, and he said, quote, "The factory wouldn't tell me exactly what the tip is, but I think it is pretty clear it's an epoxy-infused layered leather tip. The epoxy gives it the hardness of a phenolic tip, and the leather just enough give to help with the control." So that was pretty cool. And I spoke to one other higher up at the company, and he told me, quote, "Yes, it's our own layered tip. The manufacturing process is a secret. The tip is very, very good. More grip, more feel, but still powerful." So a couple of interesting reviews there from some JFlowers employees who shall remain unnamed. All right, let's get into some jump shots. I was visiting my good friend Darren at his place, and he just got the new RPG. So let's show some footage of this cue in action. Little bit about Darren. He recently sold his 12-foot snooker and installed this renovated Dufferin Challenger 9-foot table, which plays amazing, by the way. But I mention that because jumping is still fairly new for him, and he struggled with it. And he was the one that told me this cue solved all of his issues. And he's never found jumping a ball so easy as he does with the RPG. And that says a lot because he's owned about 3 or 4 different cues. So I had to get on the cue and try it myself. And yeah, I have to agree. When I tried it, I was surprised how easy it got over the ball. I didn't think the small changes they made would make a huge difference. I didn't actually need as much of an angle, like a downward angle, to get the cue ball up over a ball. I could flatten out my angle a little bit and feel comfortable. That was one thing. Another thing was I found I was able to take about 25% power off of my shot and still easily clear an object ball. One thing about the tip that surprised me was how much spin I could generate with it. Darren said it took him a while to dial it in, but now that he's got it dialed in, he's amazed with the control he can get with this tip. So let's have some final thoughts on these changes. What do these differences mean? Why did they go with a slightly heavier butt end and a lighter shaft on the RPG? Well, if you ask me, I think they probably did that to kind of move the balance point back a little bit and add a little bit of weight to the back end. These tweaks do make the RPG feel a touch more balanced and refined, though, I have to say, versus the JMPR. I could see myself getting very comfortable with this cue. All right, I'd just like to give the team a giant round of applause here because I am very impressed with this product. No joke. The fit and finish, the look, the performance, they knocked it out of the park. I haven't tried the loaded yet, but by looking at this RPG, I am very stoked for the loaded brake cue. So to me, this is just another indicator of the direction JFlowers is headed, and that is up. There's a reason they've been the fastest growing brand since I started back in 21, and they're not stopping now. 2025 is shaping up to be an exciting year for the company, and I'm looking forward to what's in store.
All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. That's all I have to cover the RPG. If you have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, leave me a note in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Hopefully this RPG is for you. If you feel like checking it out, I'll have the link in the comments below. And again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Take care.